Hello, and welcome back to London Cycle Routes. Today, I'm going to show you how to cycle from Greenwich in southeast London to City Hall in East London with the help of the new bike bus through the Silvertown tunnel, as well as showing you how to actually get to the bus on quiet streets and protected cycle lanes. I'll also show you how to use it and discuss whether it's any good or not. This ride takes around 30 minutes, including the time spent waiting for and on the bike bus. Without a bike, you're looking at more like 40 minutes on public transport. If you find this video useful or you just enjoy watching it, then please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as I try to post new videos just like this every week. And thanks as always to everybody who supports the channel on Patreon. If you want to contribute too, then you can find a link in the description below the video. Alright, let's get going. So we're starting by the Cutty Sark in Greenwich, and we're going to turn around and head through the Royal Naval College. In the first part of this video, I'm going to show you how to get to the bike bus. If you haven't heard, the Silvertown tunnel, a new road tunnel for cars, just opened, connecting the Greenwich Peninsula to the Royal Docks. You can't actually cycle through the tunnel, but TfL has laid on a bike shuttle bus so that people on bikes can get to the other side. I wasn't going to do a video about this because it's a bit weird for reasons I'll get into later, but a lot of people asked for one, so I'm going to show you what it's like, how to use it, and give my honest assessment of whether it's any good. The southern stop for the bus is on Millennium Way, a big dual carriageway on the Greenwich Peninsula that isn't very pleasant for cycling, but I've worked out a way to get there from Greenwich Town Centre that avoids traffic. We're going to take Cycleway 4 and then pick our way through some legacy infrastructure, which should get us there just fine. Old Woolwich Road that we're on now is closed to through traffic, and after this we're going to move on to segregated lanes on the main road at the end of it, so you don't have to deal with cars really at any point on this side of the river. The bus runs every 12 minutes and runs from 6:30 AM until 9:30 PM, which isn't awful, although it's on the less frequent side for a London bus. One really important thing to remember though is that the bus can only take 8 bikes at a time, which is a tiny capacity in the scheme of public transport and cycling as well. I can see 8 people on bikes in a couple of minutes if I stand on a random residential street in my part of London, and I can see 8 bikes in 8 seconds on some of the busier central London cycle routes. This is significant because it means that if 9 people want to get over the river within 12 minutes, then you'll be waiting nearly half an hour to cross, as you'll have to wait for the next bus. Currently it seems to be pretty empty, but if it actually does prove useful to more than a handful of people, it'll become less useful pretty quickly. To understand why it's set up like this, you basically need to know the context of why the shuttle bus exists. Sadiq Khan, the mayor, has got a lot of criticism for building the Silvertown tunnel from people who normally support his transport policies. London is in dire need of public transport, walking and cycling crossings in East London, and instead it's getting another road tunnel next to an existing road tunnel. So the bus was basically added as an afterthought, added on to give the tunnel some non-driving purpose. Charitably, you could say it's City Hall asking how it could make the tunnel more useful to more Londoners. Cynically, you could say it's greenwashing a project which will probably in the long term increase traffic by making it easier to drive trips over the river while doing little for other options. There's also not actually a long-term commitment to keep running the bus. TfL has said it will be free for at least a year, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will be free after a year, and I don't think there's actually a commitment to even run it at all in the long term. So it's not exactly something that you should build your commute around. One theme running through the whole thing is that it's a bit of an afterthought. This is obvious from the location of the bus stops, which, as you can see from the fact that I am currently cycling over a motorway, are somewhat out of the way and not exactly in a cycle-friendly location. This is also pretty true on the north side of the river, as we'll see later. Just a reminder that if you do need a little bit of extra help finding your way to the bus stop, then you can download a free map of this route. I do maps for all of the routes. It's linked in the description below the video on Komoot, which is a website that I host it on, but you can download it and use it on whatever app or device you want. Just download the GPX file, and that's a standard format that should work everywhere. Regular viewers may have noticed that so far we've been following my usual route from Greenwich to Woolwich, but we're actually going to break from it now and turn down Bugsby's Way. This has a shared pavement on it, as noted by the sign later on. The road, by the way, is named after Bugsby's Reach, which is a section of the River Thames, which in turn seems to have been named after a man named Bugsby, which nobody knows much about or if he even existed. There was a minor row about a decade ago when the Port of London Authority consulted on renaming that part of the Thames to Waterman's Reach, prompting the ire of local historians and councillors. I don't think it went ahead. There is a little bit of cycle path for the last section approaching the bus stop on Millennium Way. I think you cycle on the red tiles on the left here and people walk on the right hand side. You can see the bus on the other side of the road now, and one welcome feature is a toucan crossing here, which makes it easier to get over to it. Curiously, TfL has actually put some Cycleway signage here and has designated the shuttle bus as part of Cycleway 14, which is optimistic. They don't seem too sure of that as they've put it in parentheses, so make of that what you will. The bus stop does feature a countdown timer indicating when the next bus will leave, but it said 12 minutes on the sign and the nice bus driver told me it was actually leaving in 4, so hopefully that will be fixed as it's currently wrong. Boarding the bus is pretty simple. You just take your bike on the bus and strap it in with a seat belt against the wall. There's a space on the other side designated for adapted cycles, which is good to see, but I don't have one and I couldn't see how that works or how boarding the bus would work with one. It's worth saying that you can literally only use this bus with a bike. You're not allowed to use it without one, so don't show up on foot expecting to use it. There are other bus routes that have been redirected through the tunnel since it opened though. All buses in the tunnel use the bus lane, so they shouldn't get stuck in traffic. Note that I've cut this footage down and the whole journey time from bus stop to bus stop takes a little under 10 minutes. I was the only passenger on the bus and everyone I've seen online who has tried it has reported the same experience, though I don't know if that would necessarily be the case at peak commuting time. While this service has had a lot of media coverage, I would say that it's really actually not that novel. Outside of peak time, you can already get across the river near here with a bike on the DLR. And in other parts of London, you can obviously take your bike on National Rail trains and parts of the tube. TfL even produces a map of where that's allowed. This basically has 3 differences. One is that it's free for now. The second is that it's available at peak time. And the third is that it's low capacity and can fill up. If you do end up having to pay for this bus next year, it will start to beg the question, why not just take the bus or the DLR, given you're already taking and paying for public transport anyway. Already you have to factor in the wait time, and as regular viewers will know, that's one of the big advantages of cycling over public transport when it comes to journey time. As you'll have just seen, the northbound bus stop is pretty poorly located next to a big wide highway. It's just about fine if you're going to City Hall, which is here, but beyond that you have to cycle over a large junction to get to any cycle infrastructure. So yeah, that's the cycle bus. Personally, I would have rather the Silvertown tunnel's 2 bores be used for the DLR or trams down one tunnel and walking and cycling through the other, but I suspect that that's not going to happen, and this is what we've got. It has some advantages over the Greenwich foot tunnel. If you're going to the Royal Docks, then you don't have to cycle up a busy road on the Isle of Dogs. It's a new, very low capacity link that I'm sure someone will find useful, and I hope I've made it more useful by showing you how to actually get to it. Do let me know in the comments what you think of it. I do usually like to keep it positive in my videos, and this one is arguably more negative than usual, but normal service will resume next week. Do hit subscribe on the channel if you haven't already, and thanks once again to everybody who supports London Cycle Routes on Patreon. There's a link in the description for those who want to contribute too. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see some of you in the comments. Goodbye.